The Last Dance has given us another excuse to marvel at his airness, but it's also given us a window into what made Michael Jordan and his Chicago Bulls tick. Dennis Rodman's Vegas vacations with Carmen Electra, the clutch shooting of Steve Kerr and John Paxson, the growing divide between Phil Jackson's Zen Master style and Jerry Krause's need for validation.
Who put this thing together? Me! That's who!
But look deeper into how those Bulls were built and ultimately unraveled, and one thing becomes clear. Scottie Pippen was the glue that held it all together. The Dynasty maker. Jordan might have breathed life into a moribund franchise when he arrived on the scene in 1984, but it would take him 4 years to transform the Bulls from a cute sideshow into a winning ball club. Sure, the Bulls made 3 straight playoff trips in Jordan's first 3 seasons, but the team also went a combined 108 and 138 during that time. Until Pippen's 1987 arrival turned them into a perennial juggernaut.
Pippen hands it off from left against Barkley. Scottie turns it in right in the lane. Steal by Horace Grant. Pippen challenging Minute. He throws it down. Myers, Pippen. Oh, a baseball! Scottie Pippen in the face of Patrick Ewing, who did not appreciate it.
After topping out at 40 wins and winning just one measly playoff game in Jordan's first 3 seasons, the 87-88 Bulls went 50-32 and finally won a playoff series. Pippen's skill set was ahead of its time. The Central Arkansas product could be utilized as a point forward or small ball big man years before anyone was even using those terms.
He can play a small forward, a big guard, a point guard. It's nice to have that flexibility to move a player like him around.
While proving a matchup nightmare across all 5 positions on the defensive end.
It's the 3rd one he's knocked away this game.
Jordan and Krause took home MVP and Executive of the Year honors for Chicago's 1987-88 breakthrough. But both men owe that success to Pippen elevating the team's two-way potential. The Bulls were coming off 6 straight losing seasons when Krause traded for Pippen at the 87 draft. With Pippen in the mix, the Bulls enjoyed 11 straight winning seasons and won at least one playoff series in each of Pippen's 11 years in the Windy City. That run included Jordan's 21-month basketball hiatus, when everyone else had written the Bulls off. Instead, Pippen used those 2 seasons as a platform to showcase his transcendent talents.
Well, for the Chicago Bulls, there is no question who is this guy. It's a little early to be casting MVP ballots now, but Scottie Pippen is raising some eyebrows.
If anyone was doubting the alpha potential of Pippen's two-way game through Chicago's first three-peat, Jordan's premature retirement exposed those doubters as fools. Between the 1993-94 and 94-95 seasons, Pippen averaged roughly 22 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block, while shooting nearly 49% from the field and knocking down a three-pointer per game. In fact, take Pippen's stat combination from that 94-95 season, and here's what you'll realize. No one in NBA history has ever put together a season quite like it. And the only guys who've even come close are Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Jordan himself. The Bulls also won 55 games without Jordan in 93-94, a season that included All-Star Game MVP honors for Pippen, before taking the eventual Eastern Conference champion Knicks to 7 games in the East 7.
Has to shoot the 3. Oh, what a move by Pippen on the back.
If you've seen The Last Dance, you know Pippen's value was skyrocketing in every conceivable way except the one that matters to the bottom line: his salary. As Pippen's 7-year, $18 million contract quickly became the NBA's biggest bargain.
15 seconds remaining in the 4th. Pippen all the way with a spectacular move. Scottie Pippen.
A small-town underdog from a family of 11 siblings that included a brother and father in wheelchairs, Pippen felt he couldn't risk letting long-term security pass him by when the extension was presented to him in 1991. Krause and Bulls owner Jerry Reinsdorf refused to renegotiate that deal, even as Pippen emerged as one of the game's preeminent superstars. And with Pippen locked into a team-friendly deal that allowed Chicago to further supplement Jordan's supporting cast, no one else in the organization was exactly jumping at the opportunity to stand up for their underpaid teammate. The reality is, Pippen outperformed that contract beyond the team's wildest dreams, and the Bulls should have compensated him accordingly, avoiding all the messiness that was to come.
I don't think I can prove nothing this season that could give me a contract. I feel like what I did in the past for myself and for the team, that, I'm deserving of a contract, a new contract.
As Pippen grew restless, the cracks in Chicago's foundation, cracks that would bring the empire tumbling down years later, began to reveal themselves. Pippen famously refused to re-enter the closing seconds of Game 3 against the Knicks in '94 after Jackson drew up the eventual game-winning shot for Toni Kukoc, the Croatian phenom and Krause favorite brought over from Europe with money Pippen surely felt could have been spent on, well, Pippen.
Kukoc for the win! It goes! Oh, brother!
Scottie, said you weren't in because you asked out of the play.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where you weren't involved in it.
Exactly.
He put off knee surgery during the '97 offseason because, in Scottie's own words,
I'm not gonna fuck my summer up.
Given the player empowerment era upon us today, however, who could blame Pippen, a 7-time All-Star who was the 6th highest paid player on his own team and the 122nd highest paid player in the league, for rehabbing on company time instead of personal time? Call it yesterday's version of self-prescribed load management. Krause's public comments about trade talks for Pippen and a Pippen trade demand later that season, meanwhile, all played into the drama that The Last Dance is now profiling.
I'm not gonna play there anymore, and that's that, and I have that freedom and I have that right to do that.
What might have been, or rather, what might not have been for the Bulls had Pippen held firm in his trade demand? As Fredro Starr once famously asked, what if Sammy never ratted Gotti? No, wait, that's not it. What if Jordan never had Scottie? No matter how you slice it, the rise and fall of the Bulls dynasty can be told through the lens of Pippen, perhaps even more so than the vantage point of Jordan provided in The Last Dance. Pippen was the thread that connected Jordan's 2 three-peats, and the unbelievably versatile star that kept the Bulls competitive, and then some, while Jordan rode the bus with the Birmingham Barons. It was Pippen's hounding full-court defense on Magic Johnson that turned the 1991 finals and helped deliver Jordan and the Bulls their first of 6 championships. It was Pippen's migraine that sunk the Bulls in Game 7 against the Pistons, and Pippen's arms that Jordan collapsed into after the flu game in Utah 7 years later. It was Pippen's arrival that helped Jordan and the Bulls become the perennial winners we've come to recognize. And it was Pippen's unhappiness that started the team down the road to self-destruction. But don't just take my word for it.
In all the videos, you never just saw me. You saw Scottie Pippen. Every championship I won.
In the aftermath of the Bulls' last dance, while Jordan enjoyed another 3-year sabbatical, and Rodman would go on to play a grand total of just 35 more NBA games, a past his prime Pippen would play a starring role on postseason contenders in Houston and Portland.
And Portland's not letting him.
Scottie, how big is that? And he's done that throughout the
helping a 59-win Blazers team push Shaq, Kobe, and the rest of Phil Jackson's Lakers to the brink of elimination in the 2001 West Finals before a Game 7 meltdown.
O'Neal. The Lakers get the lead.
Aided at least in part by some rather questionable officiating.
Great fake and hesitation will get to the rim. And he goes up. Shaq fouled him, but he got no call.
According to Basketball Reference, Pippen went on to earn nearly $110 million in his 18-year Hall of Fame career. But in spending the majority of that time as Chicago's underpaid Robin to Jordan's Batman, Pippen goes down as the most underappreciated star in NBA history, and the living testament of a timeless question once posed by a hip-hop Hall of Famer. Would you rather be underpaid or overrated? Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button.